asks for alms. He needs some financial support. And Peter looks at him and sees his condition. And I love his response. He said, you know, I don't have any silver and I don't have any gold. But I'm going to give you I'm going to give to you what I do have. And he touched that man and brought healing. He touched him and brought healing. Simply offering what we have. That's what God uses. Those are the tools we bring. The question is, how do I use them? That's up to us. We've been given those things. And the question is for us, how am I going to use it? That's my choice. Peter, he said, I'll give you what I have. And that's part of it right there. You know, understanding how deeply God loves us. And how much the world needs to understand that God loves them. That God loves you and he loves me. And he loves those who need that love. Which really, for all of us. I like what one theologian said, people need to know that God's not a God of darkness, but of light. Not a God of cruelty, but of compassion. Not a God who demands fear, but one who creates faith. And we're a part of that process. We're a part of that process of meeting those needs. Pulpit Digest magazine several years ago had an illustration that I really liked. It was a cold winter morning, and a woman was walking along the street downtown, and she saw a boy that didn't have any socks. He had shoes, but the shoes had holes in them in winter. And she began to talk to this little fella, and those were the only pair of shoes he had. I mean, it just really tore her heart apart to see this little guy with those shoes and these holes in winter. So she took him into a store. She bought him a pair of socks, a pair of shoes, put them on, fit. This little boy took off out the door. Didn't even say thanks. She was a little taken back by that, a little disappointed, thought maybe he'd at least say thanks. But he did. He turned around and he came back. And he said, thank you. And he says, I have a question for you. He looked at the woman and he said, are you God's wife? And she didn't know how to answer. For a minute she had to think about it. She says, well, no, I'm just one of his children. And the little boy looked at her and says, well, I knew you were kin to him somehow. You know, we're God's kin. We're God's children. And the real key of what we do is to take what we have and to give. Because we have so much to give. As Peter said, I'll give you what I have. I may not have silver, I may not have gold, but this is what I do have. I'm going to share it with you. And that's the very nature of God's love itself. It's not how much we have or how much we get. That's not the key to this life. But it's how much we give. It's how much we give of what God has given to us, especially his love. And the expression of it. When I was a little boy, one of my best friends and I, he lived just down the road at least, but he had a woods in the back of his house, and there was a little ravine and a creek that ran through there. And of course, you have a creek in Boise, it's just like magnets, you know, right there. And we spent a lot of time along that creek, doing what boys do, you know, lifting up rocks, looking for crayfish, salamanders, turtles, and all that kind of stuff, and you getting dirty and getting yelled at for it. But that's just kind of how it is. But there were little pockets along the stream that had water kind of going in and out. And I remember one time we dammed one of those up. And we were proud of that. We took sticks and rocks and dirt and everything else, and we did a great job. We built a real nice little dam for that little section of that creek there, off of the one little piece of that. And we'd go back to that periodically. And we noticed some changes. The water began to take on kind of an odd color. and it had kind of an odd film on top of it after a while. And then we noticed that also it began to have kind of an odd smell. Well, what happened, we dammed that thing up. There was no flow of fresh water, and it became stagnant. It became stagnant. And that's what it is with God's love. If God's love is poured out to us, it's flowing, it's life, it's living, it's moving, it's breathing. And if we just contain it within ourselves, it's like damming up the creek. It's going to get stagnant. Because you see, God's love flowing through you and through me to others and through them. And that love just flows and flows. And that's how it's designed. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with breeder reactors. I'm not. I don't know much about breeder reactors. I looked a little bit on the internet just to see what breeder reactors are. Basically, they're atomic reactors with the theory that it's going to produce more energy than it uses. Had a lot of controversy. I'm not sure how well they necessarily work. I don't know that much about it. But when I saw that and thought about that concept, it's kind of what God is. It's kind of the way God works. That's how He works. How He works, you know? That flow of God's love. There's always more than we can ever use. Always more than we can use. And it's always flowing through us. Always flowing through us to fulfill that calling of the church. To bring this world back into relationship with God as best we can. We may not do a perfect job of it, but we're simply to take what we have and offer it, just like Peter. And we get the power of that from God's presence and His love and His Spirit to do that. And when we do, we make a difference. We need to draw from that power of God's love. We need to let that power flow through us so that it can truly touch the hearts and the lives of others and make a difference. That's how the church began. That's how the church grew. And that's how the church is going to continue to grow through you and through me, through the power and the love of God Himself. Let's pray. Gracious God, we thank you this day, and we ask that we can truly focus ourselves upon our calling. Our calling to share your love with this world, so that others can know of your love, so others can know of your presence, so that others can understand that you are there to be back in a relationship that brings life meaning and purpose and direction, that brings hope to life, that has a destination. We thank you for your power and your strength in our lives. We ask that the love that you share with us